Hello there, everyone out there in internet world. How's it going? Johnny Davis live here today, talking about all the great kickboxing news that's going on. I guess not all of it, but a lot of kickboxing information is going on across the United States and abroad. Have an interesting show for you. We're going to break it up today, actually in two parts, right? So we're going to talk to you a little bit about, obviously the East Coast Classic and some of the things that are going on there. And the second part of the show, we're going to bring on crew JT Smith, who has a real exciting program going on called Rock Steady. And it's basically a boxing program. It might be Muay Thai in there as well, that helps out senior citizens suffering from Parkinson's disease. And I thought that was really interesting because my family and I have been in senior care for many, many, many years. So I thought that that would be a really interesting subject to bring up. And so he has a really good program over in Mooresville, North Carolina. And there's some other Rock Steady programs going on across the United States. And hey, might be something for some of you other gyms to get involved with and everything. I think that it sounds like a really, really outstanding program. So we'll be talking to him in the second segment of the show there, Mr. JT, crew JT Smith. In the meantime, we also will be talking about fighter ethics today. I said that I'm going to use this platform that we have to talk about a lot of issues. Last week, we talked about, trainers taking care of your fighters, whether it's in the gym or whether it's doing a fight. I think that went over okay. Today, we're going to talk about fighters dropping out of fights, not making weight. That's going to be a sensitive subject for some people, I know. And you can feel free to comment. I don't know if I'll be able to respond. But I think I'm going to deal with subjects that on my broadcast here on Facebook and my YouTube channel to start educating the sport, I think, more about what I feel, at least, is a way to handle certain situations. Because I don't think we have a book on this. I don't think there is certain guidelines. There are, but they're not necessarily written. They're kind of unspoken. So I think that, people maybe like me, maybe like others. That's right, Jeff. I did happen to see you pop up. I was like, we're going to go. We're going to really go there today. And we are going to really get into, I think that some of the guidelines that I think promoters and fighters and all that need to take, to better our sport. And that's going to be my subject for today. It's going to be about dropouts and stuff like that. But later on, man, we're going to talk about so many things. I need to write another book. That's what I need to do, probably on the sport and what I feel some of the things. Because I have a lot of background. I've had ups and downs. There's not probably a situation that I have not dealt with in the sport of Muay Thai kickboxing, from promotions or whatever. Maybe I'll start a promoter university like this one guy was doing, but who knows? But I think there's a lot of information. Before I get started, though, I also want to talk about the Hurricane Florence. Update on that. We are still thinking about all of those who suffered from, the many losses, whether it was life or property, in that storm. It was pretty bad in a lot of areas. I will say that in all of North Carolina was not flooded. I know a lot of people think it was. A lot of people think all of South Carolina was flooded. That's not the case. I know how it looks on, TV, but there were some areas that got hit really hard. Now, let's be very clear, right on the beach areas, New Bern and Morehead City, but Myrtle Beach, as I understand it, it had some, pretty wet areas, but I know the property's okay. So as far as the tournament is concerned, that's good. Where I am up in more North Carolina, I guess it's like Charlotte area. I mean, we hardly didn't get a whole lot. So, but there are some areas that are still suffering. You guys, if you can help out, you had to have your Red Cross, you have Salvation Army, or if you could just send stuff, people over there, whatever, do that to help people out, because some of the areas are in pretty bad shape. A lot of them did not have power for a long time, and stuff. So if you can help out those people over there, that would be absolutely fantastic. Again, so those are some of the things I'm really kind of thinking about today, as I move forward and I talk about the tournament. And I talk about, people coming out and, to this area. First of all, it is safe to come to the area. It's fine over in the Myrtle Beach area. and for the tournament. But I also want to keep in mind those people who are suffering, because I know some people are suffering, having a tough time. All right. But, we have to move on with business, and that's what we're going to do. All right. So I also want to thank my corporate sponsors, Eastern Offset Printing out of Atlantic Beach. They were actually had some kind of weather issues over there, but now they're back up and ready to go. So they do all of your printing needs or whatever you need. Eastern Offset Printing in Atlantic Beach, North Carolina. Check them out if you need any kind of printing. It's good people to work with as well. Okay, all right. So the IKF East Coast Classic is coming up in a couple of weeks, literally in a couple of weeks, October 5th and 6th at the Crown Reef Conference Center in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Now, we're obviously still looking for people to register, but we have a good tournament. It's going to be a good tournament. You guys have to understand that I wouldn't do the tournament if I thought it wasn't going to be successful. It's going to be successful. We have a good amount of fighters already. We need more fighters. There's a lot of people still looking for fights. You can still register all the way up until like the 3rd, but don't wait that long, because people want to know if they have a fight. So go ahead and get on. Go ahead and register for the tournament. Men, women, children are looking for fights. I talked to a nice gym yesterday, supposed to be putting some more kids in, so that'll be great. Remember, there is a deadline happening tonight at 12 o'clock. So it's only at $65 right now, and it's going to go up. So you should go ahead and get registered. akpromotions.org. Men, women, and children. This is full contact, knockout action. It's going to be a great event, guys. And again, if you guys don't know me, I've been doing this a long time. I've been promoting for like 40 years, a long time. I know, I don't look like I've been, I know, I'm kidding. But I've been doing it for a long time. And we've had, successes and, over the years. What I'm saying is, I think most people who attend that East Coast Classic tournament, they like it for the most part. Nothing's ever perfect, but it's very different. It's very unique. There is one ring, just one ring, and there's lights, there's cameras, there's food, there's music. Everybody's a star in that tournament. So we don't need 200, 300, 400 fighters. We don't need that many fighters. We just need a good group of fighters where we end up with maybe 50, 60, 70, 80 fights or whatever. And we break them up into 3 shows. Friday night show, 8 o'clock. We have a Saturday show from 9 to like 5. And then we have a Saturday night show starting at 8, which is going to be super. And I'll talk about that. All of them going to be great. Right? So this is different. This is a unique tournament. So we recognize that everybody won't get fights. We're just trying to get as many fights as we can. So register. Give these people opportunity. Before I moved back to this area, everybody was complaining because there was no action over here. Now, we have a lot of action. Yes, we have people coming in. We have more tournaments that are popping up. That's fine. I understand that. But we have a great tournament, and we're hoping you guys are going to come out and enjoy the tournament October 5th and 6th. You still have time to register at akpromotions.org. Right there in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at the beautiful Crown Reef Conference Center. You also want to go ahead and reserve your rooms. They're going to probably sell out of rooms again. They always do. Go ahead and reserve your rooms, guys, because they will sell out fast. Okay, so the process, also another point I want to make about this tournament. The tournament is really designed to build the sport or rebuild the sport. It's not so much just a fight. It is we're rebuilding, remolding. We're looking for champions that we can build, as we were talking about with our U.S. title fight. So we're looking for these people that we can take to another level, okay? And but in this process, obviously, people are getting some valuable experience in these fights. And that is exactly what we are trying to do with this tournament. So we want you to definitely try to be involved and come out with this tournament. Now, we know the weather slowed things down a little bit, but again, we're moving forward. We're going to put on a great, great tournament, guys, so definitely try to come out. Next week, we're starting a new campaign, right? You're going to like that. You're going to see it, with, what we're talking about, ticket sales and all that. And again, it is a great spectator event, guys. So tell your family, tell your friends, mama, daddy, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, to buy tickets to the show. Go to akpromotions.org. We'll also be selling them at the door. We're going to be pushing for that campaign starting on next week, over the weekend. And also start inviting your people to come out and everything. And, it's going to be a great show for you guys. So definitely try to come out, guys. It's going to be super, super fantastic. I guarantee you, if you just go into all the tournaments, you're going to say, wow, I don't know if I've ever seen this. And with some of the fights that we're having, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit, this is going to be some of the best fights you ever want to see on Friday night, on Saturday, and Saturday night. So you can get a weekend pass and come out there and enjoy the whole weekend. I mean, I say weekend, it's only Friday, Saturday, then we're done. But I tell you, this is going to be different for some of you people who've never fought in one of my tournaments before, on one of my fight nights. Those people that have, they understand what we're trying to do. They understand the whole idea of getting you ready for that next level, right? Getting you ready for maybe a level that we might be able to produce one day, which I'm hoping. Always looking for sponsors, right? But, you know, you got Glory out there. You have Lion Fight. You have those other people, Asudan over in Canada. All of these groups are having, you know, professional fights. Don Rogers over here, Roger over in where is it, North Carolina as well. You know, so there's some events that are happening. They're higher profile. They're professional, whatever. We're getting you ready for that, right? So that's why we do the show the way we do it. And I think it's working for the fighters. And I think it makes all the fighters feel special because you know what? You are. You are special. And that is why we go all out to do all of this stuff that we do. So next week, you'll start seeing some more ads, new ads, some different kind of flyers out there and everything, marketing, what we're doing. Now, yes, I know I'm teaching people how to do this too, and that's great. Because if you want to try to keep up with me and compete with me, then do what I do, because I'm trying to do the right thing to take care of the fighters. And guess what? It's going to better the sport. That I know. Okay, so that's great. All right, so one of the things that I'm really, really excited about is our IKF United States title fights. Okay, let's talk about the welterweight fight first. Our IKF United States welterweight champion, Mr. Luis Rodrigo Morales. Luis, I know I got your name right that time because I read it. All right, he is ready. He's excited. He's training hard. And I know that he's looking forward to the big challenge of trying to defend his title. He has 3 guys coming at him. He has Mr. Sebastian Rivera out of Florida and kind of Virginia, right? Ethan Geffen out of New York, and Mr. Ryan Hoover out of Broken Arrow, Missouri. All of these guys are top contenders. All of those guys are already champions. And all of them could potentially beat Luis, I guess. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm assuming that they feel that way. But Luis is saying he's not going to have it. That's what it's all about. That's why you want to come and to the show and see, can Luis walk away on Saturday, October 6th, still the champion? Another thing I want to talk about are the belts. You know those belts? I want to be clear. The IKF East Coast Classic belts, they're one type, and they're okay. They're pretty nice. But those United States title belts, just so you know, Lily, Brienne, and people like that I see you on who probably have not seen those belts. These belts are not like the East Coast Classic belts. East Coast Classic belts are nice, but those U.S. title belts, they are like, I always say they weigh 10 or 15 pounds. They must be somewhere in that. You know, they're really heavy. They're really nice. We kind of go a step above. You know, we get them right from the IKF headquarters. So they're really nice belts, guys. So I'm telling you, we're giving you something to fight for. This is something you can be proud of. This is something that when you're defending it and you're carrying it around, people are going to say, oh my goodness, when they see that belt. So we're putting a lot into that. So it's something that, again, get excited about it. We're going to try to make it really nice for you. Couple other things that really quick, we want to go over some of the upcoming events. Always want to talk about the upcoming events that we have. Obviously we do a lot of IKF Point Muay Thai kickboxing events, guys, across the country. Please join in on those tournaments. We have an exciting tournament on tomorrow in Apex, North Carolina. Mr. Don Rogers putting on a great event there. It will be at the Apex Martial Arts Center in Apex, North Carolina. Men, women, and children. By the way, there's a big gym that's coming. He said he's bringing about 20 kids. A lot of kids are going to be there tomorrow. So we hope that some of you guys who have some kids, and they're good, they're really good, it's Panther Muay Thai. And I think they're out of Rocky Mount, North Carolina, bringing a lot of kids tomorrow. I heard some other folk bringing some kids. So if you have kids, bring them out. Men, women, and children is going to be competing for nice trophies. We're also going to do a division with the signature IKF PKB belt. So, somebody's going to be fighting for one of those PKB belts tomorrow. So hope you guys will come out tomorrow in Apex, North Carolina, guys. It's going to be a great event. Also, coming up after that, we have, September 29th in Rockland, California. The Daniel and Ryan Hodges and Jackie over there are going to be doing a great event in Rockland, California at the Free Flow Academy. It's always a great event. They put on a really, really nice show. So be sure to check that out, September 29th in Rockland, California. After that, obviously, it's the IKF East Coast Classic, October 5th and 6th in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. October 6th, also in Temecula, California, they will be doing another IKF Point Muay Thai Kickboxing Tournament. You can check that event out on PointMuayThaiCalifornia.com. October 13th, we're going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. Mr. Brian Keith is putting on another IKF Point Muay Thai event there. He has a really nice venue over there in Atlanta that he'll be doing that event. October 13th, you can see more information on the website at akpromotions.org for that. And then we have on that Sunday, October 14th, Mr. Dan King is going to be back in Charlotte, North Carolina at his Black Belt USA Academy over there. Really, really nice academy over there. We're going to be doing a nice tournament there. That is on Sunday, so we started a little bit later in the evening. It's a really nice tournament. He and his wife, Miss King, will be doing a great event there. So check it out, October 14th, that's Sunday in Charlotte, North Carolina. Mr. Dan King with Black Belt USA and his wife, Miss Ying King, will be doing another IKF Point Muay Thai sparring tournament. So be sure to check that out. October 20th, in Sumter, South Carolina, Mr. Jerome Robinson getting back in the fray. He has a brand new gym over there in Sumter, a really nice big gym. It's going to be doing a great event. So I hope you guys will come out to Sumter, South Carolina and join us with Mr. Jerome Robinson for another IKF Point Muay Thai kickboxing event. Let's see, we have a lot of shows coming up. October 27th, San Diego at the Fit Expo. Also, October 27th, we'll be in Durham, North Carolina at the Durham School of Martial Arts for another exciting IKF Point Muay Thai kickboxing tournament. And ending out the month, October 28th in Orlando, Florida. That is on a Sunday too, by the way, at the Elite Preparatory Academy. Mr. Ruben Saldana over there, a great guy doing some great things for the kids in the community. He's going to be doing a great show over there as well. He does a great job with the kids. That's October 28th in Orlando, Florida. So that rounds it up for October for right now. Have a lot more events coming up, guys. You can check out the calendar, akpromotions.org, ikfkickboxing.com, or PointMuayThaiCalifornia.com for all of the events coming your way, guys. You definitely want to come out and check out some great IKF Point Muay Thai kickboxing events. Okay, all right, here we go. Fighter ethics. This is my subject for the day. So if you know people that need to hear what I'm getting ready to say, you might want to bring them on right now. Have them tune in or whatever, or chime in. Like definitely when this video is all over, you can share it over and over again. We get hundreds and hundreds, really thousands of views once we're done with this. So definitely share it with folk to let them know. Okay, so the fight business is hard. The fight business is difficult and it's serious. If everyone could do it, everyone would. If everyone could promote it, they would. If everyone could train fighters, they would. If everyone would had the nerves to fight in it, a fight, period, they would do it. But it's not easy. It is very, very difficult to fight. And everyone needs to know that. It's not a game. It's not something, well, I think I'm just going to go fight tomorrow. There's a lot of aspects to it. And I think the reason why we have people falling out of these tournaments or not showing up is because they realize how difficult it is. They realize probably after they've accepted a fight, how hard it really is to commit to the fight. How can we kind of help out or help people better understand it and to maybe be more committed. And I think that might come from education. So we want to talk about it because some people feel like they're in the world by themselves, that they're the only ones that's dealing with, oh, this or that and that, and so I'm pulling out of the fight. Some people just have no integrity. But we need to know who those people are. We need to find out who those people are, and we need to weed them out. Okay, so you accept the fight. One of the first things, and this is not necessarily in any kind of order, but one of the first things you want to do after you accept the fight, you want to make sure that you have great communication with your trainer. You need to make sure that your trainer has the right information from the promoter, number one. Then, hopefully, he is communicating that information to you correctly. Once that communication is clear and you kind of understand, okay, maybe I'm ready for this fight, I want to ask yourself a couple of questions. You need to look at, first of all, do you really want to fight? That's a big one. Do you really want to get in there and try to knock somebody out? Do you really want to do that? Are you really in the gym to fight? Or are you in the gym to just train to be in shape or get in shape? You got to ask yourself that question. Then you want to find out about your availability. And again, it's not necessarily in this order. Find out about your availability. Find out about, are you available to take this fight? Right? Your personal life, your family members, your parents, if you're a junior, your wife, anybody else who's involved in that decision, you need to ask them, is it okay if I do this? Because those are a lot of reasons. You'll be surprised that I'm just talking from a guy's perspective. You accept the fight. It's never happened to me, but I know some people, hey, I want to be a fighter. I'm training. Hey, they're training hard. They accept the fight. They go home to the wife. The wife says, oh, no, you're not. You got little Bubby, little blah, to take care of, and you're not fighting. And even though you thought that was your decision, right? But that wife might say something totally different. And the same thing when it comes to a woman with their husband. Obviously, kids with the parents. So the one thing you want to make clear is that your family situation is clear for you to fight. Really important. There's a lot of other aspects that go to that. Your job, if you work, you need to make sure before you accept the fight that you have a clearance with your job, that you have the availability, that you can get off, that your boss is okay with it or whatever the case is. Really, really important. If not, I don't know how many times I've seen people like now even register for the tournament, the East Coast Classic, and they'll send me a note a couple of weeks after, I can't get off work. What can I do about that, right? So before you accept a fight, whether it's a fight night tournament, you need to know about your job and whether or not you have that availability. Do you have time to train? A lot of people casually can train. You can go to the gym every now and then. But training, real training, when you go into training, that's a whole nother mentality. As a former two-time world champion fighter, I know that when I went into training, it was serious. I had to stop a lot. Yeah, the women thing, you got to stop that, guys, right? You got to eat a certain kind of way. You got to drink a certain kind of way. I mean, I never drink alcohol, but I'm just saying drink, certain water, a lot more water, for example. You have to do things differently. You have to get a certain amount of sleep and all that. Then you might have a job that you got to go to. So do you have time to train? That's the other question you got to ask yourself. Really, really big. Ask yourself about then after, if you kind of cleared up your schedule, then you got to look at the opponent. Is that somebody I can fight? Is that someone I can beat? Because really, to be honest with you, you shouldn't be fighting. And this is just a fight war. I know some of the lay people might not understand this, but you shouldn't be fighting anybody you don't think you can beat. I'll be honest with you. That's a safety issue. So if you don't think you can beat them, don't take the fight. I mean, pretty simple, right? So you should take a match that makes sense to you, size-wise, your weight-wise, height-wise, everything, your skill-wise, how long the person's been training. All of those questions need to be asked because what happens a lot of times, you find out that stuff later, that's why you back out of the fight. And you might not have the nerves or whatever to go tell either the trainer or whatever that, you no longer want to take this fight after you find out the information later, okay? That's not good. I think that promoters should also have agreements, whether it's just an email or a text or whatever it is, that you have agreed to X, Y, Z. And it should be, your height, your weight, the skill level, and all of that. A lot of times, again, people pull out of fights because The promoter perhaps didn't give them all the information. So by not giving them all the information, now they pull out of the fight. So sometimes it's not always the fighter's fault that they pull out of the fight. And to be honest with you, I want to know all of that. As a regulator for IKF, I want to know kind of what happened. Why did that person pull out? Now, if it's just some lame reason, it is what it is. But if it's just because of, some just, I just don't want to fight or whatever, then, there's going to be repercussions to that. But a lot of this can be prevented if the trainer gives proper information to the fighter and the fighter completely understands that. Again, you're doing all of this now before you accept the fight. Remember that. Okay, so after you've gotten all this clarity with your trainer, then, of course, you should be able to accept the fight. If you accept the fight, it's important for you to show up and fight. Now, here's what happens when you accept the fight. This is really important. When you accept the fight, that means your opponent, that means the fight is confirmed. That means now your opponent is training. So I'm breaking this down to you today. Your opponent is training. Your opponent is inviting mama, daddy, brother, sister, aunt, uncle to come and see you fight. The promoter, it has so many fights on his card, and he is now dependent on you to show up because that fighter that he has on there is going to be selling tickets. And even your family members or you invited are going to be selling tickets. And some of those people are going to be taking off their job. They're going to be making arrangements to come and see you fight. So when you don't show up for a fight or you pull out of a fight, it affects a lot of people, a lot more people than just the promoter, right? Certainly it affects you, but it affects all of those people around you, including your opponent's people. So that's really unfair and very disrespectful, right? When you just pull out of a fight. The other thing is that when you're training after you accepted the fight, you got to train safely. You got to make sure you're not doing a lot of stupid things. A lot of times people get really excited about, hey, I got to fight. So they will go from their normal routine and start training like Rocky. They'll go into the mountains in the snow and start, whatever. Right? You don't do anything that much more different. You just might train more. Okay? So make sure that, you just up the training, but you don't lose your mind because that's how you get injured a lot of times, right? So, but if you are injured or you get hurt in your training, you have to report it to the promoter ASAP. That's hard to do, and I know that's hard to do. Let the promoter know. I'm not talking about breaking your toenail or your fingernail, okay? I'm talking about something that might be life-threatening to you in the fight or something that, a doctor maybe says that you can't do. Always listen to your doctor. But for the most part, I'm not talking about something simple. I fought with some crazy injuries, but nothing that was life-threatening. I had a really bad hip one time where I got side-kicked on my bone. It really hurt bad. And I took that fight. And my nickname was Superfoot. And I used to be a flashy kicker. Right? And I couldn't kick in that fight hardly. I just changed to something else. I used my hands. I boxed more. I used my right leg instead of my left leg. Right? And I finished the fight with a knockout. I knocked the person out and won another title. But again, I got my manager and they were really mad with me because I took it. But I didn't pull out it. I never pull out of a fight. I'm not saying again, though, if it's a safety reason, something really, where you can get injured, yeah, pull out the fight. Okay, I get it, but do it the right way. Make sure you inform the promoter of exactly why you are pulling out of the fight. Really, really important. Okay, so there are not a lot of repercussions to fighters pulling out of fights. There are for pros. Pros, can be fined, and obviously suspended and banned. Amateurs can be suspended and banned. There's not really any fines that you can really, implement. But I think this is where sanctioning bodies need to come in, keeping good records. And if fighters pull out of fights or for no apparent reason or for a good reason, then they should be suspended. I've suspended fighters already myself for not showing up for a fight or something like that. If I have right information, correct information, and there's no valid reason, you get suspended. I think sanctioning bodies need to do a better job. And this is what I talked about last week, was about why it's important to have documentation. so that, after a while, there can be a database where people will see. I know IKFkickboxing.com, they keep them there. Some of these Fight Recs and all these other, some of these other sites keep that information. I don't know if anybody really does it that well for suspensions and things like that for people no showing. I do know we do for the IKF, and I think that we need to do more of that, because if these people are not showing up for fights, they're costing people a lot of money. The promoters, the opponents, the family members, and a lot of time and energy has been put into that. So that might be a way. I do know a lady, I think Tammy Stone, who I don't know personally, but I see some of her things on the post. She was talking about fighters pulling out and stuff like that maybe getting a website database on Facebook or whatever. And that might not be a bad idea, because when you pull out of a fight, you are hurting a lot of people. And it's so disrespectful, guys. So disrespectful when you do that. So let's make sure that if you accept a fight, that you look at all of these factors. And I hope you'll go back and look at this and take a look at some of these things that can really keep you in the fight. Or if you got to pull out, do it the right way. Do it with respect, okay? I have a lot of things to talk about when it comes to why sometimes people pull out of fights because another promoter, goes in and kind of steals them from an event. No trainer should ever do that. If you pull out of a fight because another promoter comes in and courts you when they know that you're on another fight, you have no ethics. It is unethical to do that. It's unethical for a promoter to do that as well, knowing that you're on a card, and then go and try to pull a fighter off. I've never done that. I always want to know what fights you have coming up. How might it affect what this fight that I'm offering you? If you're fighting like too early to my fight or something like that, I probably won't have you on. It's just that simple. So there's some ethics here that everybody plays a role in this thing, and all. But respect is a big part of this. So make sure that if we're looking at some of these protocols for fighting, I think that we can stop some of the pullouts and the intentional maybe dropping off of a card for no apparent reasons, because if everybody's kind of having the respect for the promotion, regardless of whether you like the promotion or not, respect for the sport, right? I think that we can change this. Respect in calling people back, respect in responding to them, respect in letting them know if your fighter is no longer available, all of those things. If you have respect and follow some of these things that I've thrown out to you today, I guarantee you that we will stop some of the drops and things like that from fights. Now, really quick about the weight. Do not fight at a weight that you know that's going to be difficult for you to make. Do not fight at weight classes that you know that's unsafe, which would be difficult in many cases as well. And I think that you should stay within 10 to 15 pounds of your weight class, and that might be even too much. That means don't be a glutton after you finish a fight and try to, moderate that food afterwards, even though you're starving and want to eat everything. I know I've been there. But make sure that whatever weight you agree to, that you make that weight. Because again, if you don't make the weight, it's kind of like pulling out of a fight too. Okay? So anyway, guys, that's some of my thoughts today on how to prevent some of this pulling out of fight stuff, some of this, dropping fights for just no reason. I hope that you will take some of these thoughts into consideration, trainers and fighters and everybody involved in the sport, because I really think that it's going to help all of us out. And that's what this is all about. Again, guys, I want to thank everybody for joining me for this first segment of Johnny Davis Live, where we were talking about fighter dropouts and the IKF East Coast Classic and the registration. And it's going great. But again, we're on a deadline tonight. Hope you guys will still sign up. You've got fighters, men, women, and children that can come in to this tournament in 2 weeks, October 5th and 6th in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Guys, you definitely want to do that. The other thing I want to talk about, I forgot 1 second on that U.S. title fight, the women's United States title fight and the junior United States title fight. I forgot to mention that. We have now two ladies in the United States title fight for the IKF Flyweight Championship. Miss Lily, I call her Lily Brienne because I see Helton, and Miss Jennifer Waters out of Augusta, Georgia. Let me tell you something, guys. Those guys That is going to, I'm telling you right now, that is going to be a game changer. Those women are training hard, and it's going to be absolutely outstanding, right? So you need to check that out October 6th, Crown Reef Conference Center for the IKF United States Flyweight Champion. It's a certified title. There's only one of these. They're going to be in there, and they're going to be doing their thing. I'm telling you, there might be a knockout. I don't know. I don't know. Both ladies are smart, very skilled, and they were talking. We had them on the show a couple of weeks ago, man, and I'm telling you, I love the confidence of both of these ladies. It's going to be a great show, guys. So get your tickets now for that fight. Also, our junior featherweight champion, Miguel Angel Carranza. He's a bad dude. He's fighting on Friday night, October the 5th. He is our United States champion. He's going to be taking on Mr. Travis LaPrairie and Mr. Daniel. Oh, what's Daniel? Daniel Diaz. Right, and I'm telling you, that is going to be a great division as well. That's going to be taking place on Friday night. We have a couple more exciting fights going to be happening on Friday night as well. We'll tell you a little bit more about those coming up. So the IKF East Coast Classic coming up in a couple weeks. Get registered, akpromotions.org. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to sign off for this first segment. We'll be back on in a few moments with J.T. Smith, Crew J.T. Smith, talking about his Rock Steady program and how he's fighting Parkinson's disease. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Johnny Davis Live, and I'm checking out. Talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.